Hey, welcome back, everybody. There's the number to call if you want to get in touch with Brenda Hollingsworth, personal injury lawyer, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. Ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. Facebook us a question as well. We do have some questions coming up. I find it quite interesting, Brenda, that you, being an experienced, long-time personal injury lawyer, have decided, and have for quite some time, I would guess, have $5 million of liability insurance when most of us have $1 million. That tells me something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know firsthand how expensive it can be if you have a catastrophic injury. And really, I do that.
Well, you've seen them all, right?
That's right, and I've done the calculations of what the damages are. So I want my family to be protected in case that happens.
And others, right? Just in case,
that's
because
right.
if you're responsible,
God forbid,
you're on the hook.
That's right, and I would never want that to be a barrier, my own inability to pay to be a barrier for somebody to get what they need.
Right.
Yeah.
In many cases, these things are accidents, you know? They're collisions that happen all the time that just happen for whatever reason. And if someone's deemed at fault, you're on the hook. You better have enough to cover what the expenses are.
Yeah, I mean, there have been situations where I've had people with serious injuries and I've had to take the defendant's assets, like their house. Because
that's what happens if you don't have enough insurance?
It can
depending
happen,
on the case.
Depending on the case.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You know, I know you're not an insurance broker, but you've been through the process.
Yeah.
1 million in liability versus 2, not much difference in the cost, is there?
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd have to get a quote, but certainly in my mind, it's worth the peace of mind.
Right.
You know, it's
you went all the way up to $5 million.
Yes. Yes. I'm not saying everybody has to do that.
No, but it's your own, it's peace of mind for you, right?
That's right.
And that's what it's all about when it comes down to it. If you feel comfortable with that, then you do. Like you say, most people, the majority of people in this province, you have a $1 million liability insurance policy.
That's right. The legal minimum is $200,000. Fortunately, nobody seems to buy that. Lots of people are driving around there with $500,000 though. And that's low. If you're traveling in the States, a lot of those states, sometimes there's no liability minimum, or it's $50,000. I think in Arizona it's $15,000. So if you have a serious accident driving down there, you want to make sure that you have adequate liability insurance to protect you.
It's better to have more of that than less.
Well, yeah, you can't go back and get more once the accident's happened.
Not once it happens.
Yeah.
We do have an email question in this morning. Let's have a look at that. It's from Richard. What happens when you put in a statement of claim at your 2-year mark? First of all, what does he mean by the 2-year mark?
So most cases, you have a 2-year limitation period. You want to have started your claim in the court within 2 years. And that's what he's talking about. Putting your statement of claim is the document that starts a lawsuit. So that's the document that goes into the court that preserves your limitation period.
So he wants to know what happens if you put it in at the 2-year mark? Yeah. So at 2 years after the incident?
Yeah, so really you want to put it in the day before the 2-year anniversary in most cases, right? I mean, you can certainly put it in before that.
Yeah.
But if you put it in after that, you can be out of time.
Really?
Yes, and that's bad.
Is that a strict 2-year limitation?
Yeah, I mean, there are some variations. There are some cases where there can be extensions, but you certainly wouldn't want to count on it. And for children, it can be different. But most of us, if there's a car accident, slip and fall accident, you're going to want to have that statement of claim in at or before the 2-year mark.
When personal injury is involved and you have a client who comes in to see you and you take this case.
Yeah.
Is there any huge difference in what happens when it comes to motorcycles versus cars?
The biggest difference is that motorcycles, even though the cases I take, I've assessed them and I've determined that the motorcycle is not at fault. I mean, I don't get to decide. I'm not the judge or the jury.
But you can.
But I can gauge what I think is reasonable. I am much more likely to get a fight on liability
from the other end
with a motorcycle, even the exact same facts. If it was 2 cars, I find that insurance companies and insurance defense lawyers tend to be tougher on the liability side with motorcycles.
Really?
Yeah, so it's important, you know, in those cases, it's important to speak to a lawyer early so witnesses can be interviewed.
Right.
That's the #1 thing. For a motorcycle case, I'm going to want to get any eyewitnesses interviewed, or maybe the police interviewed them. I want to get those statements because if you have a really good statement from an eyewitness, that'll quiet things down quickly.
Yeah,
somebody independent.
there'll be less arguing.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to take another break, but there's one more opportunity for you to ask Brenda some questions when it comes to motorcycle accidents and crashes involving motorcycles, or any other sort of personal injury situation you want to ask. We'll give you that opportunity. 613-789-6559, extension 2803. There's how you get in touch with Brenda. Her email address, her website, askbrenda.ca. Get in touch if you need to talk to Brenda, a personal injury lawyer, as soon as you can. I mean, don't delay. Why would you? We'll be back with more right after this.